Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Committed to Love. Let me put on this one I always say, my darling friend Vicky Stripling. This one's for you, my hallelujah light. What I want to say is, a couple minutes before we're going to go, and we're going to stay in chapter 17 because it really is important. If you were to remove AIDS from my story and marriage, chapter 17 would be frustrations, setbacks, and disappointments. I think I have those every day. We all do. And that is what life's journey is about. Happens to be, I wrote my book on my story, but anybody that doesn't have frustrations, setbacks, or disappointments, you're not feeling it, kids, and you're not living a life at all. Because every day, as I said, I think I got them all. I want to say also that having not grown up with the World Wide Web, I have several people say I'm so animated. Yeah. But anyway, I said, not having grown up with the World Wide Web. I mean, I grew up on a little typewriter and a pen and a pencil, so I'm not good for a lot of this, but I'm amazed at how people communicate. It's been phenomenal for me. I had my first person from Nigeria. Shout out to Nigeria. The Congo. I don't know if it's the Democratic Republic of the Congo or how to word it, but thank you from the Congo. Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil. I'm telling you, I don't know how people find people, but there's no privacy. And I had my first policewoman, a policewoman. So proud. But I don't know how people find each other, but when they give you the thing that says there's privacy, there's no privacy. You're out of your mind. If you want privacy, stay in bed. Don't go on the internet. Don't ever go out. Don't ever do anything. There's no such thing as privacy. I laugh and they read you these rights. Are you kidding me? As soon as you put your name out there, you're done. That's it. So somebody said to me, she wrote me a sweet little message. She said, so how, because I told her, she said about it, I mentioned, get me a newspaper, a real newspaper. Do you know that the majority of newspapers in certain states are owned by one company? There's 5 newspapers in the state of Florida who are owned by one company. So if you get a hit on one, if you get an interview on one, you're going to go to several other newspapers or TV stations. I know I've been marketing this story for a few decades. I know what I'm talking about. But we are really connected. So anyway, I'm always saying, get me my movie deal, get me my new series, and get me to a newspaper or a TV station, call your radio stations, get me out. So she says to me in a sweet message, she says, how do they find you? And I just wanted to scream, but then I said, honey, I'm as easy to find as a Snickers bar, literally. It would be hard not to find me. I am out. So anyway, my readings are now on my YouTube channel. I'm glad you can get on it because I don't. But it's good. It really is. It has about HIV. It's got about COVID. It's got my monoclonal antibody treatment. It's got other interviews. My YouTube channel is interesting. But it does have all my readings. And tomorrow my web lady's coming over. And we're going to make sure my readings are put on files on my website, susanmintz.com. And also, on my contact me page, there's my phone number. I'm out. I've been out for years and years and years. You can find me if you want. So anyway, I just had to get a few things off. Thank you to these countries and to my policewoman. YouTube, the readings are on there, SusanMinch.com. And another reason that I'm not going to rush with anything is because I truly want you to not hear me or see me. I want you to feel me. Feel me. I said, if AIDS were out of the picture, which it won't be, that's my story, my journey to HIV. So that's my ministry, my mission, my goal, my focus, my purpose, is to speak about HIV. But if you took marriage and AIDS out of this, chapter 17, You're going to feel it. Frustrations, setbacks, and disappointments. That's it. But it's how you handle them. The other thing I just can't figure out is the difference. Hi, David. Hi, Richard. Hi, Brenda. Hey, I got 3 at one time. So anyway, next thing I know, I can't figure out the difference between views and viewers. And if they are all the same, then I'm not hitting as many people as I think. But I'm like beating against myself because I'm truly, I might get off of here and it'll say 19 people watched. And then I look on viewers and there's nobody. Or then I'll go an hour later and it's like I'm always looking. I want to hit 50. I want to hit 60. I want to hit 70. I want to hit 100. I thank you all so much, but I'm really doing this. I'm doing this for me so much. And I hope you're all getting something out of it and you're sharing with your friends. And somebody must be sharing with somebody because I'm getting some new people. And I hope that you will realize that I have gone back and I do go through your profile. And I am always trying to respond personally, telling you thank you for your support. Yes, I do my readings at 5:30. God bless you, and please share because my Facebook page is open to everyone. That's it. And friends are incredible. I don't call many people friends. We have tens of millions of friends on Facebook and all this other place. No, when you're a friend, sometimes you're going to tell someone something they don't want to hear. You're going to be with them through the good and the bad. And you're just going to be different, and it takes a while to trust and build a friendship. But the friends that I have that I call friends, I know are real because they've been with me and they've listened to me and they're opposite of me. Some of them are real prayer. Vicky, pray. She can pray anybody into something. And then I talk about my friend Lucy and Rob and Gail. I talk about my friends sometimes because they're all different. I say they're all flowers in a garden, and you don't want one color. You want a whole variety, and then they all blend. So, get friends in your garden. I think everybody should have friends that don't look like them, that don't sound like them, that have all different shapes and sizes and compartments and colors and hair. That's a variety. So, we are going to now start. I had to get my little things out of the way, as usual. I started chapter 17 yesterday, but at 5 o'clock I always sit at my little dining room table and I talk to God and I just say, Lord, would you please give me the words, not just to read, they're fine, my reading will be fine. Would you give me the words that I speak? There's the chills. Give me the words to speak so they do feel me, that the words coming out will be right words, will be good words, will be words that'll help and heal and keep you that way. So I'm going to start chapter 17 again. We only did a little bit, but I think it's extremely important. So chapter 17, and thank you for people who've been with me from the beginning and those new people coming on. Just go back and pick it up anytime you want. And those who commented on my crinkle shirts. I think that's funny. I love my crinkle shirts. So, chapter 17. And think about your life today and what you dealt with today. And it's only 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Chapter 17, frustrations, setbacks, and disappointments. As I said, I've had all 3 of them today. Quote, will I be strong enough for you and find the courage within myself for me, end quote. That's powerful. Will I be strong enough for you and find the courage within myself for me, end quote. And the only other thing is, quote, the only choices we had were how we were going to handle our choices, end quote. You are your choice. I don't believe in mistakes. I just believe in choices. And if you didn't make the right one, learn from it. But I don't like the word mistakes. It's not my vocabulary. Just didn't make maybe the best choice, the right choice. So we started, and the only choice we had were how we were going to handle our choices. So I'm going to read this one paragraph, then we'll get into a new reading. Some chapters are long, but they're so intense that I won't rush and I have to repeat. Dear Jeff, if the expression, quote, with age comes wisdom, quote, end quote, is true, hopefully one day I might consider myself a wise person. But how much wisdom does someone need to be considered wise? If life is an accumulation of learning experiences, will I become more insightful, courageous, and gain a deeper inner strength as my evolutionary process continues? There were many times during our marriage when I questioned and doubted some of my decisions. It has taken me your illness for me to recognize and absolutely unconditionally believe that from the time we got married, every choice I made was the right one. Can you say that, honestly? That every choice you made for 50 years, 30 years, 20 years was the right one? Mine was. I'd do it again. Does my acknowledgement of the feelings of fulfillment and gratification give me permission to consider myself a wise woman? I don't know. Or is my age of wisdom just beginning? That, I think, is powerful. Or is my age at 76 of wisdom just beginning? I'd love that one. Is my awakening going to grant me more patience with others and with myself in the future? I hope that one too. Has my maturity allowed me to both recognize and admit that disappointments, frustrations, and setbacks are an important yet terribly difficult part of life's learning process. My most heartbreaking disappointment is that very soon we will not be facing any more hurdles and obstacles together. So that was from yesterday. We're going to start today on Tuesday. I think, and I always know when to end. I mean, I feel it as if I take 5 minutes to recognize what I have to say. I read as long as I think I should be reading, and then I stop. And then the next day I'll always read a little bit of what I read, but I have to know that some chapters really aren't just about Jeff and myself at all. They're about helping people, helping me to help you, helping you to help me by just watching and commenting. Please comment. How many people say that? I want your comments. Okay, we're starting today. I think happiness or unhappiness has nothing to do with being optimistic. I've maintained a positive attitude about life, though many times I've been unhappy. That's the truth. Over the years, through my best and worst of situations, there is one word that has empowered and challenged me, though it has been a strong and courageous ally through my darkest hours. It has also been a fierce and cruel adversary. Just for one moment, I wrote for many news columns. They're defunct newspapers now. And I also wrote for fitness magazines when I was bodybuilding. So, I mean, I've really written a lot, and I've ghostwritten for people, edited. But I also wrote just columns at different times for different newspapers when they wanted something. And then I would do interviews and read some of my best, what I thought was empowerment stuff, or speaking, before a group. This might have been one of the things I hit on. So though it has been a strong and courageous ally through my darkest hours, it has also been a fierce and cruel adversary. The word is capital N-O, no, and its meaning can be one of life's most difficult reality checks. If my life under normal circumstances has been frustrating and challenging, how will I manage to maintain a positive attitude through this dreadful time? The power of the word no. Will I be sensitive, intuitive, and wise enough to accept the setbacks of your illness? Will I accept my fate because it is part of a bigger picture? Will I be able to handle our ordeal because I am supposed to? Yes. Will I continue to be optimistic when I feel there are times I have failed myself and now possibly you? Yes. Do I question myself with such intense scrutiny that the decision I make must be the right one? Yes. I feel like I'm taking a survey of myself. Jesus, everything I said here, I said yes to. As we face this disease together, will I be strong enough for you and positive enough for me? I answered yes to every one of these, but that might not have been the way it was when I was going through it. But when I did my writing and I took my journals and transposed them to the book, and I posed all these questions to myself, I don't even think I thought of them then. I think it's only now that I'm reading this that I'm really continuing to say yes, because we really are on, a journey of 20, 25, 30 years. And I'm answering yes. Will I be able to handle our ordeal because I am supposed to? Yes. Can you say that? Will I continue to be optimistic when I feel there are times I have failed myself and now possibly you? Can you relate and say yes? Do I question myself with such intense scrutiny that the decision I make must be the right one? Yes. Can you say that? And as we face this disease together, will I be strong enough for you and positive enough for us? How's COVID treating you today? Huh? How are these questions treating you with COVID and cancer and other possible life-threatening or other situations that can really pose a challenge in your life? Can you answer yes to a lot of the questions you're going to ask yourself? 20 years from now, I hope you say yes. Did you know the most difficult times in my life were also my most productive? I've said that before. I believed setbacks were growing experiences I could work through and learn from. I perceived my problems as opportunities that gave me courage and made me stronger. But what setback could be more horrifying than your diagnosis? What possible challenges could test me more than those devastating words on June 19th? How difficult would our future decisions be as we faced monumental negativity and rejection? How supportive would I be as I watched you suffer from an illness that has destroyed our life? When you were unable to care for yourself, would I be strong enough to take care of you? Would I have the courage to believe in myself? Would I remain hopeful and positive as the disease progresses? We had to depend on and trust other people's opinions, new medications, and frightening issues about life and death. Our setbacks went hand in hand with doctor's appointments, x-rays, lab tests, and drug treatments. It was easier for me to focus on something positive during the first few weeks of your illness. I had hopeful expectations and realistic goals. Maybe I was in shock, perhaps just relieved, but my determination to get you well kept me going. Focusing on this issue gave me strength and helped me stay positive. But how would I remain optimistic and deal with my frustrations now that I have shared my life with AIDS? Now, we did have, I think that if you go back and read that, or if you go back and listen to it, if you have been through an ordeal or a challenge or a disappointment or rejection, something significant, not the hair color didn't come out right or the nail broke. I mean, we're talking about life-threatening stuff that tested you. If you can go back and ask those questions and say yes to yourself, amen, and good for you. We did have some things to be positive about. We had excellent health insurance and the best care available. Boy, is that hard today to get. We trusted our doctors who were experts in the fields. We were actually able to reach them. Their honest opinions never deceived us with false hope. And this is in 1992, 93, 94. Things have changed a lot, haven't they, in the last 30 years? Their honest opinions never deceived us with false hope. Though we were knowledgeable about AIDS, we quickly learned we knew very little. We familiarized ourselves with the newest drugs, treatments, and data. Sometimes this information gave us hope because the drugs you received extended your quality of life. However, there were times when our hope vanished because their side effects caused you further suffering. Your frustration caused you to question whether the treatment was worse than the disease. Have you heard that before from people? I have, especially when I was doing hospice work. Believe me, and being with people my whole life, I've heard that a lot. Was the treatment worse than the disease? A major setback occurred when you became allergic to Bactrim, which is a sulfa drug, which inhibited the PCP bacteria, the pneumonia bacteria. A simple, cheap antibiotic called Bactrim was possibly being used, and for many people it was helping with the pneumonia. How many people did we know who took this common, inexpensive pill? When given this drug as a prophylactic treatment, you became deathly ill and were rushed back to the hospital. Since you couldn't tolerate this medication, the only options available involved weekly inhalation treatments and powerful toxic drugs. You were dependent on the medications and owned by the disease. Wow. But I will tell you though, hi Angela, how wonderful Angela's on. So the main thing is we had great health care. We had great doctors. We were living in the time when you could call your doctor and you really reached them. Or you really we had the best. We lived great. We had health insurance. We had disability insurance. We always had the best. I still lost. It was that time. But for those of you living today on long-term HIV, be grateful for the meds and for what you're doing and the choices you're making. It's wonderful that you have those choices. Let me read a little more. We desperately wanted to believe a miracle might happen, but in our hearts we knew there were none. Ironically, many times it was our positive attitude that set us up for this frustration. You bet it did. You felt good for several days, and your confidence and attitude improved. Then, without warning, you wouldn't feel well, and all the progress you had made was gone. These setbacks, along with the difficult questions involving your medications, were devastating for you. One day, the doctor said you were doing great, but 2 hours later, a lab report indicated a low white blood cell count or anemia. 1 minute we had hope, and a moment later we were disappointed. I remember waiting for a new drug called Mepron to get approved by the FDA. Our doctor said within 24 hours of its release, we would have this, quote, miracle drug, end quote. It cost $3 a pill. You had to take 9 of them a day with fatty foods. This went against everything. Everything. He hated to take pills, and we didn't do a lot of fat other than pizza and ice cream and stuff, but it just wasn't our protocol. The possibility of liver failure went along with the price, but we were willing to try anything to keep you alive. It was approved, and the prescription was called into our usual pharmacy. They told me it would be 48 hours before they could have it available. With a life-threatening illness, 48 hours is a lifetime. This disappointment was horrible to endure. This drug was our only hope, and sometimes was all we had. I called every drugstore from Boca Raton to Miami, finally locating one in Fort Lauderdale that had received it. I drove like a maniac for 2 hours in traffic so you could start on it immediately. This is a great place to start. And we'll start this on Wednesday and finish chapter 17. I just know that this is very important, and had COVID not come along, I don't know if I related so much to COVID, but I have to, because now there's these new variants, subvariants that are coming along and waning immunity. And most people I know not only didn't get boosters, but they're not getting a fourth shot. They keep yelling, I don't want any more. And I ask people, you're going to get a fourth shot? No, we're done. So what does that tell you about COVID? That it keeps mutating and coming back. HIV has done that. It mutated constantly. It's still mutating. However, the medications that are out are wonderful. They're heavy duty, most of them, but it's one pill, and you can go about your life reasonably feeling great. What a difference! But that was just not the way it was supposed to play out. I look at you now, people I don't know. You're looking at me, someone you hear and hopefully see. And I hope I spoke to you about something in your life. We'll go more into the power of the word no. But as I said, it was my best adversary. It was my worst adversary, but my best friend. When you learn to get good on the word no, it will save you a lot of aggravation from stuff you don't want. I think it's the most powerful two-letter word there is. No. No to this, no to that, no to you, no to your toxicity, no to your this, no to your... I don't think it should become your mantra and everything, but I think the power of that little word is empowering. And I knew I've probably spoken about that more than on anything. So, it's a half an hour, almost 25 minutes later. I wish I could take questions, but I don't know how to do that. I'm lucky I just still know how to put the lightning on, but I don't, oh, someone's waiting on getting their 5th shot. That's wonderful. I mean, I got sick after my second. I had COVID. That's why I'm saying go to my YouTube channel, and you can read about COVID that I had and the monoclonal antibody treatments and everything. It's really very, informative, considering I don't remember most of it doing it. So there's a lot on there, but I got ill after the second treatment, though I had COVID and recovered from the monoclonal antibody treatment, but I did get sick from my second shot. Not bad. I mean, I took 2 Tylenol and stayed in bed for 2 days with the chills. But time went by and I just didn't feel like getting the booster. I said, you know what, I'll wear masks. I bought 100 of them on Amazon, the KN95s. I bought 100 in white and black, and those were my Hanukkah and Christmas gifts to people. I think I'll probably end up buying more, because with these variants and a third of our country not being vaccinated, I don't care. I'll just wear my masks and people can go about their lives. I am not into the, you gotta do this protocol. HIV is my ministry. AIDS is my thing. I don't get into anything else other than maybe share it and kind of compare it. Share and compare. But I thank you all, and I know that you are real because of your comments. If one of you would help me to figure out views and viewers, I'd be really... But I add them both up, and that's what I come up with. 100. I usually try to have about 100, much better than I did in high school. The 70s or the 40s were much more like what I got in college and in high school. Not college. College I did well. But definitely the 40s and the 70s were much more realistic in high school. So when I go on tonight and I see 20, I go, oh, let me have 30 or let me have 40. And then I'll go on the views and it says, oh, 15 people viewed this now. And I see no viewers. I don't care if it's a viewer or viewer. I add them up. And as long as I'm coming up to around 100, and if you go back, I got some that are 150. God, I think it's my tops that some of you like the color. And I know a lot of you, when I have a face when I first start, I go, oh, yikes, that's a terrible face to start off a half an hour reading with. So I thank you. Yes, we are going to have a mini series. No, it'll be a mini 9 to 11 major mini series, or a major, they'll go back to The Godfather, 4 parts all in one on major TV, which that won't happen. But one of you will connect me to a big old dot, and all these little dots will end up with one big dot. And that's life. It ends up being today, one big dot talking to you. Thank you. Stay positive. Shalom, hello. Shalom, goodbye. And shalom, peace. That's definitely going to be my handle when I get my talk show. Shalom, hello. Shalom, goodbye. And shalom, peace. May you have peace at a time when there's so little. Find some peace. Shalom. Be kind. We need kindness. God, do we need kindness? Be a little more patient. Boy, do we need patience. I'm certainly one of those people that still needs a lot. And please share. Family and friends, all are welcome on my Facebook page. Everyone is welcome. I wanted everybody on who didn't know me and who still don't know me, but I wanted you to be able to share with everybody. And I will say that I'm going to have to finish and hit that button. And then I'm going to watch and see who watched, but who shows up as nobody. God bless you all. God bless you all. And be careful out there. Shalom.